Good morning. My name is Austin, and I want to welcome you to the third lesson for this Python series. Today, the first lesson, we looked at how to uh, create a Python environment that is what using a Jupyter notebook on VS Code. Then the second lesson talked about opening Jupyter notebook from Anaconda distribution, and I said at the end of the day we'll choose which of them we want to use. You can choose to decide to you can decide to use the Jupyter notebook on VS Code, or you can decide to use Jupyter notebook on Anaconda. But for the class, we'll be using Jupyter notebook on Anaconda. So right now, I want to open my Jupyter notebook on Anaconda. You can see that I already have it on my taskbar. I have pinned it to my taskbar. So I just come and I click on it. But in case you do not know what to do, you just go to your search button or your Windows icon, whichever, you click on it, you open it, and just search for Jupyter. You can see it's already open, and just what you click open. Now, once you do that, it opens what the Jupyter notebook on the Anaconda distribution. Some people like going around of first of all opening the whole Anaconda distribution and now begin to choose Jupyter notebook from there. That is just what a long journey. So just type what your Jupyter and open your Jupyter notebook. Now it's trying to open the Jupyter notebook. Just give it some time to open the Jupyter notebook. Then we'll start the class for today. Now, like I said, the last time we opened our Jupyter notebook, I said when you open your Jupyter notebook, there is something you notice. It comes up with this particular interface. And this interface you are seeing is that it picks everything that you have on your computer. Your Jupyter notebook will pick everything that you have on your computer. It will pick your documents, your desktop, every files that you have on your computer. Now it's as if you are trying to deal with your computer, but what in another with another interface. So what the next thing you need to do here now, where do you normally create your folders? Do you create your folders on your desktop or your document? Normally, I create folders that I use for my programming in my document. So I click on documents here. It now opens my document interface now. Now, this is everything that is inside my document. You can see now that's gone from what my root folder to my document. Then in my document, I now want now what create another folder where I will put my files that I will be using for this class, throughout this class now. So now, if you look at the icon here of the Jupyter notebook, you come to what to your right hand corner, the extreme of your right hand corner. You click on this new button. It show you a drop down. In that drop down, you come and you click what folder, and what once you click on folder, it has automatically created a new folder. Then how do you navigate to that new folder? You come to this last modified, or this where you have this what uh, time and date, and just go down and look for what created few seconds ago. Just look for the one that was created what some few seconds ago. That is how I normally do it. Then you will see this one here. This is it here, that created some few seconds ago. So this is the what untitled folder that has just been created. Or next time, what you'll do is that apart from going through that route, you can also just go to where you have what your where the first class starts with you and look for untitled folder. Once you do that, now you come and you click on it now. Now I want to change the name of this folder. So I come once I click on it, I want to change the name of this folder. So I come here and I say what rename. I have picked the folder that I want to rename. Then I now say what rename that folder. Now it tells me what do I want to call that folder. I want to call the name of that folder training folder. Let me say Python training folder. Python training folder, and also what rename. So now I have called it Python training folder. Now I go to where we have the P, where we have all the folders starting with P's, and I look for what my Python training folder, which is it here now. This is my Python training folder now. To open inside the folder, so that I want to see what is inside the folder, I click on it. Now you can see that now inside my folder, I do not have anything inside my folder. Now inside my folder, I now want to create the file that will be what using for today's training again. Just like I did when I was creating my folder, I come to the extreme right here, I click on new, And I now say what? Now I want to create a Python what file, Python 3 file. You will see this one, IPK canal. Then you click on it. It will now create a file inside the folder, and that is the file that we want to use what to do what we want to do. So inside here now, I come here and I can. This is the file that where we'll be writing what our Python codes and all the lessons we'll be doing. We'll be doing it here inside or this Python file. So what do I do now? I also want to rename it. So I click on this untitled, and I now what we are now say what let me call it what train no what do we want to do about here now? Let's say we want to say variables. Variables and now say name. So now the first class we're talking about is what how do we create variables in Python? So and what we all everything we need to know about variables now. Now, but before we go into that now, I want to show you what the interface of what the Jupyter notebook now. Now, this Jupyter notebook, we have the like just like in most applications, you have what we call the top nav bar, where we have the file, the edit, the view, insect, insect, cell, kernel, widget, and help. Then you also have them what in icons like this now. Now, this is one here now. This one that I've got, it's called a cell. Once you activate the cell, it turns green. If you're outside the cell, it is blue. But once you come in and you activate it, it turns green. Now, if I want to do whatsoever I want to do in the cell, if I type inside the cell and I say, let's say I say print, and I do this, and I come, I say hello, hello world. Now I have no, I have the cell is activated. I have done something inside the cell. Two things now. If you are a beginner and you do not know how to use the Jupyter notebook, you can just come here and you put what your run. Immediately it prints it out, the hello world. It prints it out now. Or if I come here now and I want to do it, maybe I want to use a shortcut, I use my shift enter button. It will also give you the same thing. The shift, press the shift, and the enter button gives you the same thing. Or you just come in to do what you're wrong, and also give you the same thing. Now you can see that this is also that means this cell is not active. If I come in and I double tap, it now turns green. Then if I want to what create another cell beneath it, I can what just come here now. I say insect. I can say insect cell above, insect cell below. I can, if I say insect cell below like this, it will insect another cell. If I come again and I say insect cell above, it will insect another cell above. Now, this is how you can now begin to navigate your way around Jupyter Notebook. Now, the reason why we are using Jupyter Notebook for Python coding is because it is very, very, very interactive. Some people like using PyCharm. It's okay. You can use PyCharm, but when you are doing trainings like this, it is preferable to use Jupyter Notebook because the interface is what friendly, it's easy to understand, and you get to know as many things as you want to do. As you know, you get to know more about Python. Let me put that way, very very easy. Now here, if I come into this cell and I activate it now, and you can see it is here. What we have here is code. That means we are coding. If I want to do something, I just want to write text. I come to what Markdown, and I just write whatsoever I want to do. I can just say this this class is for variables, and I press shift enter. You can see that what I said Markdown now, and now what it now comes out as what just text, and it has gone back to code. So anytime I want to do my Markdown or want to write just text, I can come here and what do that. So I can also come here again and what to do, what to call comment. Now, how do we comment now? If you, I'm looking for the hash key. Yeah, okay. This is the hash key here now. Now, if I do this and whatsoever I write here now will not, it's just like what, like a markdown. But in program, we'll call it commenting. I can also come here and do this for so I can also do this now. It's either I use a markdown to write the text, or I comment the text out. So we'll be seeing more of this as we go on now. So now, today's class, apart from getting to know about the Jupyter notebook, we want to just quickly run into the first class for our series, which is called what? Variables. Now, variables. Now, what are variables? Variables are actually containers that hold something. A variable is a container that holds what? Something. So when I say container that holds something, is variable is what? A container. It must always carry a child or something inside of it now. Now, when you create variables in programming, maybe Python, PHP, C Sharp, C++, JavaScript or Java, there was always what you create a variable following some rules. Like now, you cannot create variables with space. You can't create a variable like this. Let's say I say let's say I say x y is equals to maybe 200. You cannot create a variable like this. It will definitely give you an error. So there must not be space when you're creating a variable like this. Now, if you want to correct this now, what you can do is that you can now put your underscore like this. Now it will run. So in creating variable names, there must not be space in between two group of letters or two the variable name. Then now, another thing again, if you create this variable like this, to also would give you an error. When you want to attach two variables together, you use you can use maybe most likely what we call what? An underscore. An underscore, or you just put the two of them together like this. So now, creating variable name, we have what? Different methods of creating, apart from what? Not using what? Creating, allowing space in between them. You are not allowed to use what? Numbers. I can't come here now and I say 3y and I do this, it will give me an error. You don't start a variable name with numbers. So, but if I come here like this, and I say y3, it runs. So you don't start a variable name with numbers. And now I told you now, a variable what holds is a container. Just take it that variables are what? Are containers that what? That come on. Variables are containers that hold what? They hold something. But in programming, variables are containers that hold what? Data types. Now, in our class now, we'll be creating variables and what? Knowing our data types now. Now, if I want to create any variable, you can give a variable any name. But remember those rules. You don't start a variable name with a number and you don't put space between variable names. So if I come here now and I say text, now this is a perfect variable name. I do this now. Now we want to know what does variables, what do they hold in programming like Pythons? Now variables what will hold what we call data types. And there are 4 types of what? Native data types. I call them native data types. I will show them to you now. One of them is what we call what? A string. Let's say text and I say a string. That is what is a string. If I say none, which is number, this is, let's say 300. This is what? Integers. This is, if I say flow, and I put what? 30.3. Now this is a float like this. Then if I call boolean, maybe I now say boolean, we'll show that now. If I say x, is either boolean is either what to say true or false. We'll show that now as we go down. Now you can see that text. This is one type of data type. It's called what? A string. This one is called what? A string data type. This one is called integers. And this is called what? Float. Floats. So now this, and the last one, we also have what called the null. Now that this null means what? It does not hold anything. It holds nothing. So these are the data types that will be seen as we go along. And we also come here and we'll see what the other one, I call them booleans. How do I do a boolean here now? If I say 3 is less than 2, this is false. It will give me false. So these are booleans. So these are the data types that we'll be dealing with. We'll be looking strings at strings, numbers, floats, null, and what boolean. If I come here and I say 3 is what greater than 3 is what greater than 2, it will give me what true. So that these are the things that we'll be looking at now. Now, what how do you see them now? You can see that when I created what a text, a string will always be in between what upside down, or I call them inverted commas. It can either be single or what double inverted comma. This is how you create a string. Now, integers do not have they don't need to be in an inverted comma. You just write out integers. Same thing with floats. You just write out what your floats like this. You just write out your floats and what your these are what your boolean. So now these are the four data types that we'll be looking at as we go on. We'll be using more for text and numbers. As time goes on, then we'll now begin to bring in floats, null, and boolean. But as at the beginning of the class, the two most important one and the two most frequent ones you will be seeing are what the numbers and what the text. The numbers and what the text. So now, this I do not want to make the videos too long so that we will not get bored now. So we'll be ending this video here now. With this, what do we talk about in this video? We talked about what just went through the interface of what our Jupyter notebook. Then we talked about variables and how to know and the data types that they hold. We talked about the variables they can hold what string data type, they can hold integer data type, they can hold the float data type. This is the FL80. They can hold what the float what data type, and what the null is doesn't have what anything it is carrying. So like I said, we'll end the class here, and the next class we'll be holding will now begin to talk about how to use variables and what integers together, because we'll be dealing with this data type one after the other. How do we use integers with our variables? So this is the first one, because with variables. How do you use integers? Let me see, and float with our variable. That will be the next class. And after that, we'll see how do we use integers with our variables with our strings. The first one is going to be how we use integers with our variable. Then the second one is going to be how we use strings with our variable. Now, thank you very much. Now, if you have benefited from this class, I would like you to just subscribe, press the subscribe button. You say subscribe, like, and share, so that other people who love to code or love to program in Python will get to know about it. Thank you very much.